Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is the Rainmaker. If you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please do so right now. Okay, so today we'll be talking about making drop-down lists in Excel. Let's quickly go into it.
Okay, so this is the data set we're going to use to understand how to make a drop-down list, okay, in Microsoft Excel. All right, so basically what does drop-down list do for you? It just makes your data to be more coordinated, it makes your analysis to be purer, it makes your data gathering or the input or your data entry to be more to be a bit to be less manual, to be more automatic really. So what does data validation what does it drop down to? Okay, so basically, let's say this is a small sample data or a small set where I want to measure the status of the task I've given my colleagues or my subordinates or my employees, depending, and I want them to just write or to just fill in 2 or 3 fields. So let's say I want to measure I want to measure 3 fields. So I want to measure the completed field, work in progress, or the pending field. All right, so I could use a drop-down list for them such that each time anybody clicks on this cell, there's a button to the right. They click on the button and they pick any of the options. So if Ade wants to fill in his or her own, or well, you would just click on the drop-down button that will be here and will just click completed. Inca will do the same thing and pick pending, or they can pick the same thing and pick work in progress. That way, it makes my data to be more organized, because if left to these people, they probably just want to write their heart out and probably just start writing the challenges they're facing, and somebody would say, "Oh, I'm still working on it," and you have a lot of text strings put together, jam packed together, and doesn't make a lot of sense. You may not even be able to do any analysis whatsoever. So I'm going to quickly show us 2 methods by which we can do that. We can manually fill it in our data validation field, or we could use the concepts of tables. All right. Okay, so let's quickly get into it. So what you do is to highlight the cells that you want to have the drop down button, or to make a drop down list. Then come to your data tab here on your ribbon, and come to your data tools. So under your data tools group, come to data validation. All right, so when you click on data validation, under the settings tab here, come to the allow menu here and click this drop down and choose list. Okay, so in this list, you may want to write the fields you want to see there. So I'm just going to write. So I'm going to write completed, comma. I want to see pending, and a comma, and I want to see what work in progress. Work in progress. Okay, so I'm just going to say okay, and by the time I go back to my data set, I say drop down. Okay, so we can see that there's this tiny button here already that can easily you can pick easily the employees can pick the ones that pertain to them individually. So it makes your entry or your data entry seamless. It makes your data gathering easy, really. Okay, so all the employees can actually enter which one is due to them, and you should have a more fantastic data set. All right, so before we end this as we proceed, rather, I'm going to show us, if you may even want to measure, you may want to do a final report and measure the percentage of people who are on the completed status or percentage of people who are pending. So it gives you insight into what your next line of action would be as a manager. All right. Okay, so this is the number one. This is number one method of having to make drop down list, or drop down list basically. Okay, so the number 2 method is to use a table. So I'm going to come to this other sheet. I have some prepared tasks. It's a replica of what we have here, but just a bit different. Okay, so in this other one, instead of us having to manually inputting in the data validation dialog box, okay, instead of us having to do that, we could just have it. We could have it in here and convert this range of data set to tables. And how do I do that? All right, how do I do that? I quickly, okay, let me just put the heading. The heading is status. Okay, so how do I do that? I could put my cursor here and press Ctrl T, or I could come to the insert tab here, all right, and just press table. I come to table. I want to insert it in tables, all right. And by that, by putting my data in table, actually, it makes it makes my analysis more automated, it makes it more dynamic, and it gives it an easy flow. All right, we're going to see that shortly. So I'm going to, since my table has headers, it has a status header, I'm going to check this box that yes, my table has headers, and I'm going to say okay. So automatically Excel sees that, or sees this as a full data set. So I'm going to come back here and say that I want to create the drop down list. All right. So how do I do that? So just like the simple method that we did the other time, I highlight all the cells or the range of cells where I want to put my drop down. Okay, I like the range of cells I want to put my drop down. Then I come to my data tab as usual, and I come to my data validation. So my data validation dialog box pops up. I come to the allow menu. I click on list. Then the difference, I'm going to feed in the source. I'm going to feed it in from this table. So the moment I activate this source cell, I can come here. I can come to my table that I've just created. All right, I can come to my table that I've just created. I'll just highlight it and put it in there. And the moment I'm doing that, Excel automatically populates the range of cells that are involved. Then I'm gonna say okay. And the moment I do that, I also have this drop down button, and you can see that it's oh, I'm not supposed to have highlighted status. Okay, so I'm going to redo that right now. I'm going to do Control Z because I don't want status to show. I'm going to do Control Z, and I'm going to quickly do that again. I'm going to pick the data set from completed, not done, and work in progress, because those are the things I want to see. I don't want to see this error. All right, so I'm going to come again, come to data, I'll come to my data validation, and I'm going to click lists. Okay, and I'm going to come to source, and I'm going to feed it in like this. All right, so if you notice, I started from completed, not done, and work in progress, because that's what I want to see. So I'm going to say okay, and I'm going to come back here, and those are the three things that come with that. So I can easily fill it in and easily. So let's now assume that I want to continue the list. Maybe I want to add like one or two more options to it. Because I'm using a table, that will be easy and it will be automated. So let's say I want to add an option of pending. Remember, I didn't put pending initially, but the moment I add it to this table, because I'm working with a table, it's going to pick it. All right, it's more automated. So if you notice, my table has been extended to this pending, and when I come here, I'm going to see pending on the list too, so we can see that pending is there. So I really don't have to go through that process anymore. So it's more like it's a bit of automation really, and it really makes your work easier and seamless compared to if your employees started writing stories or started writing different text strings that you can't even analyze. You can't have a glimpse of it. Okay, so let me quickly show us what I mean by that. Okay, because so let's now assume that you want to take it a notch further. Let's assume you even have this data set in thousands, and plenty of your employees have to, or plenty of your colleagues have to work on it. All right. So well, let's say it even runs into their thousands. Okay. So how do you fix that? All right. So or how do you quickly see how many percentage of people are in the completed status, or what's the percentage of people who are in the pending status? What's the percentage of people who are in the work in progress status? So another easier way to quickly do that, you could even represent, or you could summarize all this kind of data. You can summarize them in pictorially. Okay, you can visualize them, or you could just have them in table to summarize them in percentages. So you want to see what percentage of people are on completed status, what percentage of people are in work in progress mode. Okay, so you could actually quickly do that. So let's do that. We'll quickly this is more like an introduction into a bigger concept of pivot table and pivot chart, but for the purpose of this, I just want to tell you why it's always a good idea to understand how to make a drop down list, to make your analysis easier, to have an easy flow. Okay, so I've highlighted the old data set, and I'm going to come to the insert tab. All right, and I'm going to come to the insert. Under the insert tab, I'm going to come to the chart group. All right, I'm going to come to recommended charts. All right, and Excel is going to give me, it's only a clustered bar chart that is available for me. All right, so I'm just going to say okay, no problem. Then here we have it. Excel quickly brings it into pivot charts and pivot table kind of thing. Okay, so we can see that Excel automatically gives us the summary of people who are under, how many of the count of people who are under the completed status, the count who are under pending, the count who are under work in progress. Okay, so in this case, maybe I don't want to see the count, maybe I want to see the percentage. I can just quickly do this and right click on the name and I'll say show value as percentage of grand total, and automatically Excel gives me a good idea of people who are under completed status. So for this particular data set that we saw this first one, for this particular first one that we have a new sheet for a pivot here. This is a totally different concept that we're going to look at in the coming weeks. But what I'm trying to say now is that this makes your data more meaningful. So you can see that 57.1 people are under the completed status, 28.5 people, 28.5% rather, they're under pending, and work in progress is 14.2%. So what do you want to focus your energy on? You want to know why 28.5 guys are still pending. At least pending means could mean a lot of things. Probably you just want to drill down to say that, okay, the guys in the completed status, what did they do differently? Why have they been able to complete their own task? What is delaying the pending guys? Are they facing a challenge? Do you need to step in? The same thing with the work in progress guys. Okay, so basically, having a data validated field or having a drop down list really makes your work easier and makes your work neater, and it's you avoid a lot of clumsiness with your data set. So with this one now, you can easily present your data to, let's say you want to present to your line manager, and you have a clean sheet that you can work with. You can format this chart as much as you want. You can have it in different design styles that you want, basically. So this will bring us to the end of this video for today, and I'll see you in our next class. All right, cheers, bye.
Thank you for watching. If you like this video, do not forget to hit the like button, and if you've not subscribed, please subscribe to this channel right now. Thank you. Enjoy your day. Bye.